Oh man, you are straight up in senioritisville, right? You have moved in, you've packed your bags. Raise your hand if you're ready to get out of here. Excellent. All right. Now, would you please do me a favor? There are a few people in this world who believe that they are excellent teachers because every time they say anything, people listen. Those people are called skydive instructors. Because if you don't listen, bad things happen. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You need to act like I am teaching you how to skydive today. Fair enough? Because what stands between a lot of you and the podium and getting that little piece of paper which says you have a diploma from the Puyallup School District could be the Senior Culminating Project Exit Interview or Presentation, which I am going to tell you about and teach you how to do today. So much like when you're getting ready to go and skydive, they don't teach the skydive class a month ahead of time. Hey, guess what? Show up 6 weeks from 6 weeks early. We'll talk about it, and then we'll just kind of show up that day and just do it, right? They do it the day. It's like, hey, do you want to listen? Because you're going to be jumping out of a plane in a half hour. And people are, what are they like? Like, okay. So I know that some of you right now are saying, hey, Millbrook, I got time. And it's the same thing you said when we said, hey, guess what? Get your best works. Start filling out your, do your culminating project. And raise your hand right now. You don't have to. But if you would have had a little bit quicker of a start on your culminating project hours or your portfolio, that perhaps life would be a little bit more smooth right now. Anyone? Okay, the same thing holds true for today. I'm telling you, listen, take notes, tell someone next to you if they're bothering you, just say, hey, leave me alone, this is an hour, I'm jumping out of a plane on May 1st or May 2nd, I want to be prepared. Fair enough? Okay. Now, need one? Does anyone else need a packet? This packet is crucial, so they're coming around. We're getting more. Everyone, let's give Connie 3 claps on ready. Ready. Oh, so bad. Woo. Evidently, seen your clapping eyes. All right, so those are coming around. Let me give you one last instruction. Besides listening, besides making sure that you spend the next hour figuring out how to do your exit interview, okay, make sure that you understand that this is time you have to be here. Here's a lesson I learned. Throughout probably the last 15 years of my life, I decided if I ever had to be somewhere, I might as well get the most out of it if I had to be somewhere. Does that make sense? Like in the next hour, you're not going anywhere for the most part. So you have 2 options. Either you can kind of zone out, you can be on your phone, talking to a neighbor, kind of not really paying attention, or you can save yourself an hour or more later on trying to chase down someone who has the answer, get them now, work on it, write down notes, plan accordingly, and spend an hour. When you walk out of here, you might have a pretty good idea about what your senior exit interview is going to look like. Now, raise your hand if you're doing the exit interview. Yeah, everyone. So keep your hands up because you all probably made a terrible choice. Uh-oh. This was the easy one, right? This one's halfway full. Guess what's going to happen when I do the presentation? We're going to fit in this area right here next Tuesday. And I'm going to look at them and I'm going to say, you chose wisely. Now, here is what you need to get out of your head. Why I say you, because when you made the choice to do the interview, how many of you thought you weren't choosing the interview? You were actually choosing, hey, I don't really need to plan. All I need to do is answer some questions. All that's going to happen is they're going to say something to me. I just need to respond. If that takes 10 minutes, I pass. Was that what you thought you were choosing? Because if you thought that, you chose wrong. Here's the reality. you need to plan. For every bit, you need to plan every bit as much as the senior presentation people are planning and more. Because the presentation people plan, here's their advantage. They are get to plan somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes of a presentation, and when they're done, they might get a few questions and it's over with. Here is what you need to be concerned about. If you show up and you have not done a good job planning out every single answer, and you make it so that the evaluator or the people who are asking questions have to pull answers out of you, then you are in bad shape. You will not pass the practice. You will be in jeopardy of not passing senior boards. So if you think that you're interviewing and therefore you don't need to plan, you're wrong. So you all need to plan accordingly. You need to plan it like a presentation. Here's the hard part. Each time you get about 3 minutes done with your presentation, they're gonna stop and they get to grill you. Which means anything that you said which didn't make sense, anything that you said that wasn't quite clear or didn't explain about a research paper, about your community experience, they get to stop and they get to ask you. So you better make sure you're prepared. The advantage of the presentation is that by the time someone gets 12 minutes and they're done, there's a good chance they've either forgotten the question they had or they just don't want to ask because it's been 12 minutes. Here's the story. You will be fine. You need to prepare, then you need to practice some more, then practice some more. Understand? So get that in your head now. It's not going to be a walk in the park. But it will be if you plan and you practice. Fair enough? So, we're going to go ahead and get started and do a couple things. Here's what I want you to understand is this. We want you to succeed. We want you to do well. We want you to show up prepared for your practice speech. We want you to do your practice speech. We want you to show up on May 1st or May 2nd, ready to go, and the community members and the staff members and whoever else is there to say, wow, this person was prepared, they are ready to go, they did a great job. That is why we are here. Here's what we don't want you to do. We don't want you to run the risk of not passing a speech, of not passing the senior boards, and then pushing it back and pushing it back. More than anything we want to see as far as a clear answer, we want to see preparation. We want to see that as 17, 18-year-old young students who are going out in the real world, that you can problem solve, that you can take responsibility, you can plan accordingly, and you can show up ready to do a task that is pretty clear and designated for you to do. But if you show up and go, I don't even know, and you do nothing to prepare, I have failed people in the first 30 seconds before the practice. They walk in, they're not prepared, I said, come back tomorrow. You haven't asked the question, you're not prepared. You've done nothing. You need to prepare, make sure you're ready to go. Understand? Here's the thing. This is the time of year. One last message for all of you who are seniors, right? You are going to be one of two things in the next 3 months or 4 months before you get out of here. Either you're going to be someone that we're glad when you show up, or you're going to be someone that we're glad when you leave. Make sense? And you ask any teacher, and there's plenty of students who we were glad that you showed up for the first 2.5 to almost 3 years, but down the stretch, we couldn't wait for you to go. My guess, all right, is who you want to be as a person should be someone that when you walk out of here, that the teachers aren't thinking in their head, oh, I hope they don't come back. So, plan accordingly, prepare, practice, 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 you'll be good to go. Are you ready to get started with some of the formal training stuff? So these are all some good things that you want to make sure you know. All right, here's the first thing. Look at that nice slide. I made that. It looks pretty sweet. Give me 2 claps. Oh, man. It's only going to get worse. I'm going to keep doing it. All right, here we go. Here's the purpose. The purpose is to showcase your high school experience. This is an actual quote from the rubric. It says, interview responses clearly address the 4 fundamental questions while including portfolio evidence. If that is somewhere in your packet, or you want to make a note, every single question. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They don't include the portfolio. The portfolio needs to be used all the way through your presentation for all 4 questions. when you get your portfolio and you're ready to go, this is Phoenix's, thank you Phoenix. She's just about done, right? Good for you. For every single question, you need to have some tabs. You need to have some sort of evidence that you can use from your portfolio for every single question. There's been speeches who have been great. They've gone 11 minutes, answered them all clearly. They don't open this one time and I'll say, hey, that was great, come back tomorrow, show me you can use some evidence. You talk about everything great, but unless I see it, all right, you're not gonna pass. So make sure you use this for all of the questions. And by the way, at any point in time, if you have a question, please just raise your hand and stop me, we'll move on. Here's a couple of early things, you know this stuff. These are simple ones. Hey, first one, make sure you drop off early. So on the day when you do your presentation, you're gonna get a list. You're gonna be with probably 4, 5, 6 people from your advisory. You're gonna all be nervous, you're all gonna be dressed up. You're gonna show up and I think it's about noon. I think we usually start at about 1 is when the boards start. At noon, you're gonna be ready to go to drop off your portfolio on time. You're going to bring it to the judges. The judges have an hour to go through and review your portfolio. And you're going to stand outside. Some will be nervous. You'll be looking at your notes. All right, but it's key is that one of these first things you have is a great first impression. Don't be the person that we say, hey, show up with your portfolio, drop it off at 12. Don't be the person who shows up all sweaty and, I can't find my research paper. Well, when did you start looking for it? I don't know, like an hour ago. These should be things that are taken care of ahead of time so that you are prepared. So you show up at noon, you're on time, you're calm, and here's the thing. Not only is that going to be a good impression, it's also going to set you up to be prepared and to be confident when you go through and do your exit interview. So a couple other things, obviously no cell phones, no gum. If you have a bottle of water, that's okay. And then obviously poise. A couple things make sure you keep in mind is that we want to see you kind of stand up there and be confident. To introduce yourself like, hey, my name is James. Hey, my name is Cindy. And then you kind of go through, you shake hands, a nice kind of somewhat firm handshake. Don't get too crazy, don't go LG on them, all right? Just a nice little handshake. You all have shaken LG's hand, right? When I walk down the hallway and LG's coming at me, many times I will take what's in my left hand and switch it to my right. Oh, hey, LG, and I'll wave so I can avoid the handshake. It's a good move, try it. So address all panel members, wait to be directed to sit down. Those are also things which are pretty standard. My guess is your evaluator will walk you through that process when you start. They'll kind of say, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in, we're gonna introduce yourselves, we'll walk you all through, and they'll have some instructions about specifically what's gonna happen in that classroom. All right, a couple of things about dressing for success. Obviously, be neat, be clean. All right, neat and clean. It's like, well, I don't like to be neat and clean. You are going to want to be neat and clean today. If it's the day, all right? So, be neat and clean. Obviously, apparel should fit. You should remain in place while you're sitting down. Things aren't falling off of you, that sort of thing, or walking. Here's what I'll tell you. Please make sure that what you are saying in your speech speaks louder than what your clothes are saying. I'm not telling you that you can't be unique. I'm not telling you can't be yourself. But in the end, when we talk about job interviews, okay, interviews to go into the military, to go into trade school, or to go and get a job, or to call, whatever it's going to be, having a good, physical appearance is just part of the gig. And it doesn't say, hey, they have fashion sense. It simply says they are trying to prepare to win a job, to do something well. That's what you need to communicate. All right, a few options here you can look at. Obviously, what not to wear: short skirts, t-shirts, long, brightly painted fingernails that are over the top. Those can be distracting. If you already have them, you pay good money because the senior ball is coming up. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to cut them off. Obviously, facial piercings, tongue jewelry, more than one set of earrings, visible tattoos. These are all things that obviously, when this PowerPoint was written, things have somewhat changed. All I'm going to say is that use your discretion. Just make sure that you know that, hey, that this is part of the evaluation piece, is to look and say, okay, are they ready to go professionally? Now, if it's who you are and you own it, then I'm not going to tell you not to be who you are. I'm really not. And no one else is either, all right? We're not. But this would not be the day to go also, hey, I'm gonna go, oh, look at this, all right? And draw on Sharpie on your hands, everything else. Look at me, all right? So, keep that in mind. Overly bright, large pattern clothing, fishnets, guys don't wear those, ever. Tennis shoes, stilettos, open-toed shoes, some of those things. Here is a better way to look at it is, here are some things you might want to wear. So if you look up there, here's some images. You can see, okay, professional, business casual, business professional, business casual for the men. So I would say any of these outfits look pretty nice. These are some things that you might go through and say, okay, I can wear this. So things like a tie. Looks pretty good. Do you need a full-on suit? No. Don't go spend $200 at Sears like I did to buy a suit. You don't need it, right? Shirt and tie. Now, obviously, girls, you have a better fashion sense than I do. You probably know what works, but you can see these are the types of things that people are looking for when you go through and actually do your speech. Any questions about the things that you should wear? No? Looks pretty good. All right, here's some things you shouldn't wear. Uh-oh. Here we go. Do we see this sort of stuff a lot? Yeah, every time. So here's some things you probably will not want to be. You probably want to try and avoid shorts. Just a good thing to avoid it. Here's a girl with a purse, some sandals, t-shirt, sunglasses. Not a good idea. It's never cool to pop your collar, or is it? I don't even know. If you like to pop your collar, great. I wouldn't pop it on May 1st and May 2nd. Sound good? I'm not sure that cargo shorts are cool anymore. I still wear them, but I'm trying to bring it back. But it's the same pair I wore when they were in, so that's cool. That's the great part about being older is what's some of the clothes I see that are coming back are things that I still own. So I bring them back out of my closet. It's unique, you get to go buy them. I don't. So jeans, avoid the jeans. It's always good to have socks. Guys, I'll tell you one thing. When you have those nice black shoes on, and I should have done it today, and you have those nice black slacks or pants, when you put your leg up, it would be nice to maybe see some socks. Don't go barefoot in those leather shoes. Or a big, huge, strong, isn't that sexy? Look at that. See my calf? Yes.